What you're about to discover isn't just another self-improvement video. This is the distillation of years studying the psychology of high-value men who operate outside conventional social hierarchies. Men who build empires while others build followers. Men who attract loyalty without demanding it. Men who shape reality through pure mental discipline. If you've made it to this channel, you already know you're different. You've probably felt disconnected from the mainstream advice about masculinity, relationships, and success. You've sensed that there's a deeper game being played, and you want the real rules. That's exactly what this channel provides. Authentic Sigma insights from someone who has lived this path and helped hundreds of men transform their mindset from reactive to sovereign. Before we dive deep, I need you to understand something crucial. This isn't about becoming Sigma. You already are Sigma, or you have the potential. This is about removing the conditioning that's been suppressing your natural frequency and activating the mindset that will make you truly unstoppable. 1. The silent revolution. Listen up, Sigma males. While the world is obsessed with alpha posturing and beta submission, you've discovered something they'll never understand. True power operates in silence. You don't need validation from the crowd. You don't crave the spotlight. And you certainly don't follow the herd mentality that governs 99% of men today. But here's the brutal truth. Most Sigma content creators won't tell you. Having a Sigma mindset isn't just about being independent or mysterious. It's about mastering a specific psychological framework that transforms every interaction, every decision, and every moment of your life into a strategic advantage. Today, I'm going to reveal the exact system that separates genuine Sigma males from the wannabes. A 5-minute mental transformation that will rewire your brain for absolute dominance. Most men spend their entire lives trapped in reactive patterns. They respond to women's tests, they seek approval from bosses, they conform to social expectations, and they wonder why they feel empty despite following all the rules. You're different. You've always felt it, haven't you? That inner knowing that you operate on a different frequency, that conventional wisdom doesn't apply to you. The Sigma mindset isn't just a personality type, it's a weapon. It's the difference between being controlled by external circumstances and controlling them. It's the difference between hoping for respect and commanding it without saying a word. It's the difference between living reactively and living with such intentional purpose that reality itself seems to bend around your will. Every day, thousands of men discover the Sigma male archetype and think they understand it. They start acting aloof. They withdraw from social situations. They convince themselves that being antisocial makes them Sigma. They're missing the point entirely. True Sigma energy isn't about avoiding the game. It's about playing it so masterfully that you rewrite the rules, while others don't even realize the game has changed. 2. The 3-step Sigma mental framework. The difference between a man who thinks he's Sigma and a man who embodies Sigma energy comes down to one thing: systematic mental conditioning. Most men operate from emotional impulses, social programming, and reactive patterns they've never questioned. You're about to learn the exact 3-step process that rewires your brain for Sigma dominance in any situation. Step 1 is the detachment protocol. Detachment isn't indifference, it's strategic emotional positioning. When you master detachment, you become the eye of the hurricane while chaos swirls around you. This means developing the ability to observe situations without being emotionally hijacked by them. Picture this. You're in a meeting where everyone is panicking about a deadline. The alpha tries to take control through force, the beta submits to the pressure, but you remain calm, assess the real situation, and speak only when your words will have maximum impact. Practical application. For the next 24 hours, practice the 3-second rule. Before responding to any request, criticism, or emotional trigger, count 3 seconds while maintaining eye contact. This micro-pause creates psychological space between stimulus and response, giving you power over the interaction. Step 2 is the value preservation system. Your attention, time, and energy are finite resources more valuable than money. Sigma males understand that where you place your focus determines your reality. This step requires you to become ruthlessly selective about what deserves your mental bandwidth. The system works like this. Categorize every demand on your attention into 3 buckets. Essential, things that directly advance your core objectives. Optional, things that might have some benefit but aren't crucial. Drain, things that consume energy without meaningful return. Your goal is to maximize essential, minimize optional, and eliminate drain completely. Step 3 is the strategic silence principle. Most men talk too much because they're uncomfortable with silence or trying to prove their value through words. Sigma males understand that silence is power and strategic silence is a weapon. This isn't about being antisocial. It's about making every word count and allowing others to reveal themselves in the space you create. Strategic silence works on multiple levels. In conversations, it forces others to fill the void, often revealing more than they intended. In negotiations, it creates pressure that works in your favor. In social situations, it positions you as the observer rather than the entertainer, which naturally draws people toward you. Master this progression. First, reduce unnecessary commentary by 50%. Second, use silence as a response to unreasonable requests or tests. Third, develop the ability to be comfortable in silent spaces. This comfort becomes magnetic to others who are desperate to fill every moment with noise. The framework becomes automatic with practice. Detachment keeps you centered, value preservation keeps you focused, and strategic silence keeps you in control. Combined, these 3 steps create an unshakable foundation that allows you to operate from strength in any situation. 3. The 2 irrefutable phrases that command instant respect. Words have power, but only when used with surgical precision. Most men either talk too much or say too little, missing the psychological triggers that create immediate authority. After analyzing thousands of interactions between high-value men and their environments, I've identified 2 specific phrases that bypass social programming and speak directly to the subconscious hierarchy recognition system in everyone around you. The first phrase is, "That doesn't work for me." This isn't just a statement. It's a boundary disguised as simple communication. When you say, "That doesn't work for me," you're accomplishing several psychological objectives simultaneously. You're establishing that you have standards, that you've evaluated the situation independently, and that you're not available for manipulation or guilt trips. The genius of this phrase lies in its calm certainty. You're not angry. You're not explaining why. You're not apologizing. You're simply stating a fact about your reality. It's impossible to argue with because you're not making a universal claim. You're sharing your personal standard. Watch what happens when someone tries to pressure you into plans you don't want. "Hey, we're all going to that networking event tonight. You should come." Instead of making excuses or explaining your preference, you respond, "That doesn't work for me." Notice how the conversation shifts. They can't argue with your reality, and they unconsciously recognize that you operate by internal rather than external standards. Advanced application. Use this phrase for anything that doesn't align with your priorities: social obligations, business proposals, relationship expectations, or time commitments. The key is delivery. Calm, certain, final. No emotional charge, no room for negotiation, no explanation required. The second phrase is, "I'll consider it." This phrase is psychological gold because it maintains your decision-making authority while appearing cooperative. When someone makes a request or suggestion, Instead of immediately agreeing or disagreeing, you create space for your own judgment. "I'll consider it" communicates that you take requests seriously enough to think them through, but you don't make decisions under pressure. The power dynamics shift immediately. Instead of being in reactive mode, you've moved into evaluation mode. You're no longer responding to their timeline or emotional urgency. You're operating from your own center. This naturally positions you as the authority in the interaction. Practical example: your boss suggests you take on an additional project that wasn't in your original scope. Instead of immediately saying yes, beta response, or explaining why you can't, defensive response, you say, "I'll consider it and get back to you with my thoughts." This communicates professionalism while maintaining your right to evaluate whether the request serves your interests. The sophisticated version includes a timeline. "I'll consider it and let you know by Friday." This shows you're serious about the consideration while establishing that you work on your schedule, not theirs. Both phrases work because they communicate something crucial about your psychological framework. You don't make decisions based on social pressure, you don't explain yourself unless you choose to, and you operate from internal rather than external validation systems. This kind of centered authority is magnetic because it's so rare in a world of reactive, approval-seeking behavior. Practice these phrases until they become natural responses. The goal isn't to be difficult or antisocial. It's to train yourself and others to recognize that you operate from choice rather than compulsion, strategy rather than reaction, and personal authority rather than external validation. 4. The Shadow Integration Protocol. Every Sigma male has a shadow, parts of his personality that he's learned to suppress because they don't fit society's expectations of nice behavior. The difference between a man who merely thinks he's Sigma and one who embodies true Sigma power is this: he has integrated his shadow instead of running from it. This isn't about becoming aggressive or antisocial. This is about reclaiming the parts of yourself that create authentic presence and unshakable confidence. Your shadow contains your suppressed anger, your rejected selfishness, your hidden ambition, and your natural dominance instincts. Society taught you to hide these aspects because they threaten the social order that benefits from compliant men. But Sigma males understand that these shadow elements, when properly integrated, become sources of unstoppable personal power. Phase 1 is shadow recognition. Start by identifying what you've been trained to suppress. Notice the moments when you feel angry, but force yourself to be understanding. Observe when you want to prioritize your needs, but instead accommodate others. Pay attention to situations where you have strong opinions, but stay quiet to avoid conflict. These suppressions aren't serving you. They're serving a system that benefits from your compliance. Exercise. For 1 week, keep a shadow journal. Every time you notice yourself suppressing a natural response, write it down. Felt angry when colleague took credit for my idea, but smiled and said nothing. Wanted to leave the party early, but stayed because I didn't want to seem antisocial. Had a better solution to the problem, but didn't speak up because I didn't want to contradict the boss. Phase 2 is strategic expression. Integration doesn't mean becoming an asshole. It means expressing your authentic responses in ways that serve your objectives. Your anger becomes assertiveness. Your selfishness becomes healthy boundaries. Your dominance becomes natural leadership. The key is strategic authenticity, being true to your nature while remaining effective in your environment. Real example. Instead of suppressing anger when someone disrespects your time, you express it strategically. I value punctuality, and when people are late without notice, it affects my schedule. Let's figure out how to prevent this going forward. And you've expressed the authentic emotion, anger, in a way that creates change rather than conflict. Phase 3 is integrated presence. When you stop suppressing parts of yourself, something powerful happens. You develop integrated presence. People can sense when someone is operating from their full psychological spectrum versus hiding parts of themselves. Integrated presence is magnetic because it's rare. Most people are performing roles, but you're being authentic within strategic parameters. This integration creates what I call comfortable danger. People sense that you're not entirely predictable, that you have depth and complexity, that you're not performing for their approval. This creates respect and attraction because it communicates psychological completeness. The protocol requires consistent practice. Start small. Express one authentic response per day that you would normally suppress. Build up to expressing your full range of thoughts and feelings in ways that serve your objectives rather than sabotage them. Remember, the goal isn't to become reactive or emotional. It's to reclaim the full spectrum of your personality and express it through the filter of Sigma intelligence. Your shadow, when integrated, becomes your greatest source of personal magnetism and authentic power. 5. Advanced Sigma positioning strategies. Positioning is everything. While other men compete for status through external displays, Sigma males understand that true positioning happens in the psychological realm. It's about how you occupy space, how you respond to challenges, and how you navigate social dynamics without getting trapped by them. Strategy 1 is the lateral power move. Most men think power moves are about confrontation or dominance displays. Sigma males understand that the most effective power moves happen laterally. You don't challenge the existing hierarchy, you operate outside it entirely. This confuses people because they can't place you in their normal social categories, which automatically positions you as someone who plays by different rules. Example, in a corporate meeting where everyone is competing for the boss's attention through agreeable comments, you remain silent until the end, then offer a completely different perspective that reframes the entire discussion. You're not challenging anyone directly, but you've demonstrated that you see patterns others miss and think independently of group consensus. Strategy 2 is the strategic absence principle. Your absence should be more powerful than your presence. This doesn't mean being antisocial. It means being so intentional about when and how you engage that people notice when you're not there. When you become predictably unpredictable, when people can't assume your availability, your value automatically increases. Implement this by being highly selective about social obligations, business meetings, and casual interactions. Show up fully when you choose to engage, but make it clear that your participation is a choice, not an obligation. This creates what psychologists call intermittent reinforcement, the most powerful form of behavioral conditioning. Strategy 3 is the information asymmetry advantage. Knowledge is power, but strategic knowledge sharing is control. Sigma males gather information constantly, but share it selectively. This creates information asymmetry that positions you as a valuable resource while maintaining your strategic advantage. This means listening more than speaking, asking questions that reveal others' motivations, and keeping your own cards close to your chest. When you do share information, make it count. Your insights should be valuable enough that people seek your perspective, but rare enough that they appreciate the access. Strategy 4 is the outcome independence frame. Perhaps the most powerful positioning strategy is genuine outcome independence. This doesn't mean not caring about results. It means being so confident in your ability to create value that you're not attached to any specific outcome. This psychological freedom is magnetic because it's so rare. Outcome independence works in every context. In negotiations, you're willing to walk away, which gives you leverage. In relationships, you're not desperate for approval, which creates attraction. In career situations, you're focused on excellence rather than politics, which builds genuine respect. These positioning strategies work because they communicate something fundamental about your psychology. You operate from choice rather than need, strategy rather than emotion, and internal validation rather than external approval. Master these frames and you'll find that influence becomes natural and respect becomes inevitable. 6. The Sigma's secret influence system. True influence has nothing to do with charisma, persuasion techniques, or manipulation tactics. Sigma males wield a different kind of power, influence through authentic value creation and strategic positioning. While others try to convince people to like them, you're going to learn how to make yourself indispensable without appearing to try. Element 1 is the value creation multiplier. Your influence grows exponentially when you focus on creating value for others in ways that align with your own objectives. This isn't people-pleasing. It's strategic value creation that serves everyone involved while advancing your position. The key is identifying value opportunities that others miss because they're focused on short-term gains or social positioning. Look for problems that others complain about but don't solve. Find inefficiencies that everyone accepts as just how things are. Identify opportunities for improvement that benefit multiple parties. Then solve these problems quietly, effectively, and without seeking credit. Your reputation for getting things done becomes your influence currency. Element 2 is the asymmetric response system. Most people operate on reciprocity. They match the energy and effort they receive. Sigma males operate asymmetrically. They respond to negative energy with calm competence and to positive energy with unexpected value. This breaks people's behavioral patterns and creates psychological influence through unpredictability. When someone is aggressive or confrontational, instead of matching their energy, you respond with professional competence that makes their behavior look juvenile. When someone is helpful or supportive, you find ways to provide value that exceeds their contribution. This asymmetric approach positions you as someone who operates by higher standards. Element 3 is the information architecture framework. Control the information flow, and you control the narrative. Sigma males understand that influence often comes down to being the person others turn to for reliable information, unique perspectives, and strategic insights. This isn't about being a gossip or information broker. It's about becoming a trusted source of valuable intelligence. Build your information architecture by developing relationships with people across different levels and departments. Listen for patterns that others miss because they're trapped in their own perspective bubbles. Synthesize information in ways that provide clear value to decision makers and problem solvers. Element 4 is the strategic alliance network. Sigma males don't build networks through small talk and social events. They build alliances through mutual value creation and strategic cooperation. Focus on developing relationships with other competent, results-oriented people who share your standards for excellence. These alliances should be based on complementary strengths rather than personal chemistry. You're looking for people who excel in areas where you're weak, who have access to resources you need, or who share objectives that align with yours. The relationship should create value for both parties without requiring constant maintenance or social performance. This influence system works because it's based on genuine value creation rather than social manipulation. People support you because their association with you genuinely improves their results, not because you've convinced them to like you. This creates sustainable influence that grows stronger over time rather than requiring constant maintenance. 7. Becoming untouchable, the ultimate Sigma state. Untouchable doesn't mean isolated or antisocial. It means psychologically immune to the manipulation, drama, and emotional turbulence that derails most men. When you achieve the ultimate Sigma state, you operate from such internal stability that external circumstances can't shake your foundation. This is the final evolution, complete sovereignty over your own mind, emotions, and decisions. Foundation 1 is emotional sovereignty. Most men are emotional puppets, their mood, confidence, and decisions controlled by external events and other people's reactions. Sigma males develop emotional sovereignty, the ability to choose their emotional state regardless of circumstances. This isn't about suppressing emotions, it's about mastering them. Emotional sovereignty begins with recognizing that your emotional state is always a choice. When someone disrespects you, you can choose anger or strategic response. When plans fall through, you can choose frustration or adaptation. When people disappoint you, you can choose resentment or adjusted expectations. The practice is simple but transformative. Before reacting to any situation, ask yourself, what emotional state would serve me best right now? Then consciously choose that state. You become the director of your own emotional experience. Foundation 2 is outcome detachment. The ultimate Sigma state requires complete detachment from outcomes while maintaining total commitment to excellence. This paradox creates unstoppable momentum. You're fully invested in the process while being psychologically free from the results. This freedom creates authentic confidence because your self-worth isn't dependent on external validation. Outcome detachment works in every area. In business, you focus on creating exceptional value while being detached from specific deals or recognition. In relationships, you offer your best self while being detached from particular responses or reciprocation. In personal development, you commit to consistent improvement while being detached from timelines or comparisons. Foundation 3 is reality architecture. At the highest level, Sigma males become architects of their own reality. Instead of adapting to circumstances, you create circumstances that align with your vision. This requires thinking in systems rather than events, focusing on what you can control rather than what you can't, and building momentum through consistent action toward clear objectives. Reality architecture begins with absolute clarity about your core values, non-negotiable standards, and long-term vision. From this foundation, you make decisions that consistently move you toward your desired reality while eliminating elements that conflict with your objectives. Foundation 4 is legacy consciousness. The final element of the ultimate Sigma state is legacy consciousness, making decisions based on the impact you want to have on the world rather than immediate gratification or social approval. This long-term perspective creates immunity to short-term pressures and positions you as someone who thinks beyond the immediate moment. Legacy consciousness means asking different questions. How will this decision affect my long-term objectives? What example am I setting through my choices? What value am I creating that will outlast my immediate circumstances? This perspective automatically elevates your thinking and decision-making. The ultimate Sigma state is characterized by complete internal authority. You know who you are, what you value, and where you're going. External pressures become irrelevant because you operate from such clear internal guidance that other people's opinions, society's expectations, and temporary circumstances can't derail your trajectory. This isn't a destination you reach once. It's a state you develop and maintain through consistent practice. Every day you choose sovereignty over reactivity, strategy over emotion, and long-term thinking over immediate gratification. Over time, these choices compound into unshakable personal authority that makes you truly untouchable. You don't need anyone's permission to be Sigma. You don't need external validation to know your worth. You don't need perfect circumstances to create excellence. You have everything you need right now to begin operating from the ultimate Sigma state. The revolution starts in your mind. Your mind starts now. Welcome to the ultimate Sigma state. The Sigma mindset isn't a destination. It's a way of being that grows stronger with practice. Every time you choose independence over approval, strategy over reaction, and purpose over pleasure, You're strengthening this mental framework. Every time you resist the urge to explain yourself, prove your worth, or seek validation, you're operating from authentic Sigma energy. Remember, the world needs men who think differently, who aren't swayed by popular opinion, who can see through the illusions that trap most people. Your refusal to conform isn't antisocial, it's essential. Your ability to operate independently isn't selfish, it's leadership. Your commitment to your own path isn't arrogance, it's wisdom. If this resonated with your Sigma core, subscribe to Official Sigma Male for the deep insights you won't find anywhere else. We don't just talk about Sigma theory, we provide the practical frameworks that transform your daily reality. Every week, we decode another layer of high-value masculine psychology that will give you an unfair advantage in every area of life. Hit that notification bell because this knowledge changes everything, and you deserve to stay ahead of the curve. The revolution starts in your mind, and your mind starts now.